Hi, everybody. Dr. Fo here, and I have Dr. Chima here with me.
Thank you.
Okay, so we were talking about hair, and I thought that it was a really great conversation. So I thought that it might be a really great idea for me to record, for us to record some of our conversation. And so I'm so grateful that you decided to allow me to record you. So I guess we could start from the beginning. So at first you were asking me, you said you wanted to start the curly girl method, right?
Yeah, I just wanted you to tell me what to do with my hair. And then I was asking you to tell me if I should do curly girl method, right?
Okay, so
that was the appropriate thing for me.
Okay, so what did you think the curly girl method was?
Whatever I learned from Instagram.
Really?
And some TikTok videos that I see here and
some
there,
TikTok
pretty
videos.
Much, yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, so what I told you was that I didn't tell you any particular method you need to follow or anything like that. I just kind of asked you like what were your goals? What were your goals again for the way you want your hair to look?
So for my hair, I want it to look put together enough, but not too put together.
Okay.
Like I wanted to, effortless, like I want to make it look like I put maybe like 10 minutes, but I also don't want it to look like I put a whole hour in because I don't want to be that person.
Okay.
So that's my goal.
Okay. And I also asked you how you wanted your hair to feel, and you told me you want your hair to feel soft.
Yeah.
Okay. So based on that information, I told her that all she needs to do is shampoo, condition, and put in a styling lotion. And so for her, I recommended the Curl Junkie Spiral Lotion because it's likely to give her the hold that she desires. It has ingredients for hold as well as the softness that she desires because it has some ingredients for softness. But it doesn't have emollients to the point that it's going to weigh her hair down and make her hair super greasy. Not all leave-ins are made alike. Some are really heavy. Some don't have any ingredients for hold. So I kept this in mind when recommending products for her to try out. A styling lotion or like a styling product with hold or leave-in. Well, we may understand the leave-in conditioner with hold. I told her that because she wants her hair to be soft. She wants it to look effortless. And she wants something low maintenance. She wants to be able to air dry and go about her business. So that's why I told her that. And then we talked about clarifying shampoos.
Yes.
And you were saying that you needed to buy a clarifying shampoo. Why did you say you need to buy a clarifying shampoo?
So I was reading about it actually once again, Instagram.
Yeah.
Like I saw it and then I learned you should use clarifying shampoos on your hair. And I've never used one. So I was like, maybe I need to clean my scalp or something. And I don't have anything that I can feel, but it was just like a thing that seems that people should try.
Yeah, okay, so you had never used a clarifying shampoo. Had you heard of a clarifying shampoo before?
I had heard of it, yes.
So
but I had never really thought of it before.
Yeah, you didn't understand what was did you know what the purpose was for it?
I had no idea.
Yeah, and that's actually so common. When I used to work at Sally Beauty, a lot of people of different backgrounds, different races, they didn't know what a clarifying shampoo was. Some people knew about it, but they didn't know what it was for. And some people had never heard of a clarifying shampoo before. And so that was a big thing. That was like a big eye opener when I worked at Sally Beauty maybe like 2 years ago. And I was giving consultations at Sally Beauty. So when I discussed the clarifying shampoo with you, I was honest. I was like, So this is the way I explain hair care to her. I said that if something doesn't feel good when you apply it to your hair, don't use it unless it's a clarifying shampoo because those feel awful. I mean, there are some out there that feel nice, but for the most part, a lot of them feel awful to me. And so I told you that the only thing that you would need that would feel awful likely is a clarifying shampoo.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any color or any damage or anything like that. So you're not going to need like any strengthening treatments. So, and those can feel unpleasant too. But also another thing I want to reemphasize that I told her no specific method. And these are my like personal opinions.
Yeah.
So there always is going to be something that maybe shifts with your lifestyle, because like you were saying when we were talking about washing.
Yeah.
how often she should wash her hair. So here you
Yeah.
said you only have to wash your hair how often?
Yeah, like here I only wash my hair once a week. But originally I'm from Pakistan, and when I'm in Pakistan, I wash my hair like twice a week most of the time, or sometimes even thrice a week, right? Like if I have been like out a lot or something because of like the dust and sweat and everything else.
Yeah.
So it like changes depending upon where I am.
Yeah, and so the same thing applies to like a hair care routine. You're going to apply, you're going to adjust how often you wash your hair, sometimes even what styling products you use based on the environment, but also your like desired finish for your styling. So everything that I'm saying is subjective and it's from like my personal experience as well as things that I learned from hairstylists. And then we got into something where we talked about some things from hairstylists, and we actually watched a video from a hairstylist that was relevant. So I might pop that in, I might edit that in so you all can see a little bit of that video from that stylist.
I wanted to clear up because I keep seeing this over and over again, and it's that coarse hair is wiry, that it is dry, that it is rough. So coarse isn't in reference to how the hair feels. Coarse references the diameter of the individual hair strand. If you have fine hair, your hair strands are very small in diameter, and if you have coarse hair, your strands are very large in diameter. I did hair for 20 years, and I had people who had coarse hair that was more wiry and dry and rough, and I had people who had coarse hair that was very soft and slippery and the cuticle laid flat and smooth. I happen to have hair like that. It is not remotely rough, but it is still coarse because of the diameter of the hair strand.
But we talked about your hair and the shine. Yeah. So what were you saying about the shine that your hair has? What were you saying about that?
Yeah, so naturally you were talking about like Fo asked me how I wanted my hair to look, and I told her I wanted it to look soft. And then we got into this whole conversation. Like sometimes, like I pull one hair out and or I pick one hair and I look at it and it feels very coarse. But then you look at it as a whole and it's not as coarse as I feel that one strand is. So I was asking her to explain that phenomenon to me. So go.
Yeah, so what we ended up talking about was strand size and surface texture. So a lot of people, that's another thing that I realized when I was working at Sally Beauty, but then also that I've realized since I've been on YouTube, that a lot of people, they don't understand strand size, meaning how small, medium, or large, meaning coarse. So large means coarse. I know that there's a social connotation around coarse meaning rough, but large also means coarse when it comes to hair terminology. And when you look in your books, like the latest version of the Milady Cosmetology book. But there's small, medium, coarse with strand size, strand diameter. So both of us have large hair strands. Yeah. Both of us have coarse, meaning large hair strands. Yeah. But we have different surface textures and also different wave or curl patterns. So, but we actually have a good bit in common with our hair, funny enough, because both of us have large hair strands. Both of us have high density hair, meaning a lot of hair per square inch. You have a lot of hair. Both of us have a lot of hair per square inch. But what's different about our hair is your hair is a little bit more smooth to medium so surface texture, that's different from strand size. Surface texture is how smooth or rough your hair is along the surface. So some people can have silky surface texture. Some people can have smooth surface texture. So it's a gradient. Some people can have silky. Some people can have smooth. Some people can have medium. Some people can have more of what some would describe as cottony. And some people can have very kinky surface texture that also sometimes is called coarse surface texture. So that kind of confuses some people because there are a lot of people, I've noticed a lot of people of African descent that are on YouTube, they have fine hair strands, so meaning small hair strands, but they have very kinky or rough or bumpy surface texture. So that's confusing to a lot of people, but when it comes to our hair, your surface texture is smooth to medium, and then mine is more medium to more cottony. And so that took a long time for me to really understand. That was really confusing to me. actually, when I first started my journey with learning from curl artists, I had a curl artist incorrectly label my surface texture. And so I just kind of threw away my whole personal experience with having, she incorrectly identified my surface texture, and then also she didn't pay attention to the fact that I have coarse, large hair strands that can be wiry depending on the circumstances. And so I sort of threw away my whole hair experience and just was like, okay, I'm wrong. I don't know anything. I just didn't know how to care for my hair. Until later on, I went to another hairstylist who's actually the mentor of the previous hairstylist, and she confirmed, Aisha, a Black Girl Curls, who also has coarse hair, she confirmed that I have coarse, large hair strands, and then also I don't have smooth or silky hair at all. I have some areas that are more, it's more in the medium range to, what am I trying to say? Cottony. But see, my medium is going to show up differently than your medium. Right? So you see how the medium can show up differently in terms of surface texture, because your hair is a little bit more smooth, and then my hair is more what I call, as a consumer perspective, I call Afro texture.
But also, like, depending upon, you know, like how, as you were saying, how we treat our hair right after we wash them or something, right? Like, I washed my hair, like, right now. I basically, like, washed it around midnight and then, like, went to sleep with wet hair right away without putting anything in. And then this is what I wake up in, right? Like, I didn't brush. Like, I haven't brushed. I washed it 2 days ago. But if I, you know, like, combed it and then I try to, like, put some product in and I try to pull on it, then it will be very straight.
Because it will be way down.
Like I had no idea about that.
So, okay, so what you're talking about is how you set your hair, how you style your hair while it's wet. That will impact the way it looks when it's dry. So, for example, you explain your process, and this helped your kind of bring out your waves more because you didn't put products on it that weighed it down. So for me, I put just a styling lotion in my hair. That's all I have in my hair right now. So I washed my hair today, and I only put a styling lotion in my hair, and I just raked it through the way I would gels and things. And so this is my result, right? It's also important for me to highlight that a lot of leave-in conditioners, styling lotions, and creams, they make my hair look more ashy. So the white colored styling lotions, creams, and things like that, they kind of put a damper on the sheen or shimmer that my hair can have. So it makes my hair color appear a little bit more brown, a little bit more dull, as opposed to having more sheen, like what I get from a nice clear hair gel that helps apply like a lacquer or a gloss on my hair and brings out my natural sheen on my hair a lot more. But if I had put in gels, then I would have more of a glossy, weighed down finish. And so typically for me, it takes 2 to 3 products, typically around 3 products, for me to be able to really weigh my hair down to get a certain level of curl definition, which isn't a bad thing. It's a look, it's a style. But I think that's something that sometimes can go over people's heads. Because sometimes for some people, even when they set their hair to be more smooth and more defined, their hair isn't going to look like mine, and it's not going to look like yours. So there's so much variety when it comes to hair.
You should talk about hair reflecting light.
Oh, hair. Okay. So that blew your mind. She said I should talk about hair reflecting light. Okay. So you were saying that your hair is not as shiny as you wanted it to be. So that's because your hair is more smooth to medium, as opposed to it's not flat out silky. And so, you know, there's that factor. The surface texture impacts how shiny or not shiny your hair is. And I know that Black Girl Curls talks about surface texture, but the way that they talk about it, I think, well, it comes from the context, especially Aisha, when she's discussing it, she's talking about it from her context as a person whose hair doesn't have any shine at all a lot of times. But there's more to it that I think a lot of people miss. For me and for you, depending on how we set our hair can reflect light better. So if you set your hair, we talked about with the styling lotion, and you set your waves a lot more defined, then your hair is going to have more sheen and shine to it, right? And the same thing goes for me. If I set my hair with my 2-3 products, typically 3 products, and really smooth and weigh that hair down and organize it, then it's going to be able to reflect light better. But also when I organize my hair with a twist out, my hair is able to reflect light better because the strands are smooth and they're organized. Now, that's not the case for everybody's hair. Some people's hair, because it's at the far end of the spectrum with being very kinky in the surface texture, the hair often doesn't have as much sheen or shine. It may have a little bit of artificial sheen or shine from product at the beginning of the week, but then that goes away. But that's actually, to an extent, the same case with me. But my hair is able to have more sheen and shine than some people that have a kinkier surface texture.
Here you should add that photo of yourself where you have your hair very defined and
So I'll actually give you all an even better example. Here's a video of my super defined twist out. It was done with one product, only a styling foam, and you see that my hair is able to have more sheen because it is organized and it is smooth. I think that, at the top of, I'm learning how to, as a doctor now.
Yes.
Stand in what I have to say. But at the top of my journey, when I shared with you all how I used to style my hair, you would see me use a leave-in conditioner, and I would saturate my hair. So my hair would be damp. And I would saturate my hair in hair gel, and then I'll put a styling foam on top. And then I'll be able to do some defined curls when my hair was shorter, and my hair would have this shine to it. Yeah. That was artificial. That was from the product. To an extent, my hair does have some sheen on its own. It does have a beautiful sheen to it. But the products helped me to enhance that. And I had to saturate my hair in those products. And I think a lot of people miss that. But that end result was something that was achieved through a certain styling process. Mm-hmm. And so, but we both talked about being effortless. And so at the end of the day, we don't want to have to be so put together all the time and have to, layer. You said you didn't want to layer all those products.
I don't want to.
Yeah, because even if you look at a lot of different wave or curl patterns, in order to get a really picture perfect finish, there are some people, when we start getting into the smooth, medium, cottony, kinky range, well, more so the smooth to cottony range, there are a lot of people within the wavy to tight curl community, they weigh their hair down with different products to achieve that perfect finish. And it's a lot of work. Well, it can be a lot of work. But we don't always want to have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, never.
I'm trying to think, what else did you ask me about that is worth talking about? We talked about what the different styling products are for.
Yes. Yeah, because on Instagram you see all these very thorough routines, and you have to do your clarifying shampoos and then actual shampoos and then conditioners and then mousse and gel and oil and lotion.
So it's like all the products, right? Yeah. So it's like all the products, and it's like what is each of these products for? And so we talked about you using your clarifying shampoo, starting out trying it once a month, right? Mm-hmm. And so trying it once a month, but then and I also told her, because clarifying shampoos feel awful, we've established that, but they are necessary awful. Because they removed all the previous buildup from your hair, so your products can work more effectively, so your hair can be more moisturized. You'll have a better experience with your hair. Sometimes we say, oh, my hair got used to a product, when really it's that we need to clarify our hair and use a clarifying shampoo. Yeah. And so I told you that with your clarifying shampoo and with any of your styling products, unless there's a specific reason otherwise, you want to smooth your hair downward. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't tangle. So you want to, because clarifying shampoos often cause people's hair to tighten and tangle. Not all the time, but a lot of times they can cause your hair to tighten and tangle. So you want to smooth clarifying shampoos down. And then you want to go in with a moisturizing shampoo afterwards to help smooth the cuticle back down after you've used your clarifying shampoo. And I told you use your clarifying shampoo as many times as you need it to make your hair feel clean or whatever. So did you have any questions about the clarifying shampoo?
No, I mean, I was just like asking if I should use one.
Okay, yeah. Everybody needs a clarifying shampoo. Everybody, and some people they go years without one and they don't have a problem, and it could be because of how their hair retains or doesn't retain buildup. Different people's hair retains buildup differently, and so so we talked about the clarifying shampoo once a month, and then if you realize you need it more often, you can use it more often. And then we talked about following it up with a moisturizing shampoo. Yeah. And afterwards, you go in with your conditioner. If you need a deep treatment, you can use a deep treatment. And then after the deep treatment or the regular conditioner, you can then follow that up with, what do you call it? Your styler. Okay. So we talked about your stylers. Yes. And we talked about you can do a lotion if you want your hair to be soft. And you want your hair to be effortless, but it's not going to have lasting hold. So a lotion, and then we talked about lotions with leave-ins. I mean, not lotion with
lotion with a holding gel. Yeah.
Yes. Some creams and things, they have ingredients for hold, and some don't. And so I showed you some holding ingredients. Yes. Yeah. So some leave-in conditioners have no hold, and some have hold that can help hold her waves in place. So if you want a soft finish, and this can apply to so many different hair types, you use your leave-in lotion or your leave-in. And then if you want a voluminous finish, we talked about a styling foam or a volumizing foam. Yeah. And then if you want, but some people say that they're drying, so some people say their styling foams are drying. And then if you don't want a voluminous finish, you want a more weighed down finish, then you reach for your gel. Yeah. But some people find gels to be drying. There are some botanical gels that are more what people consider moisturizing, but also sometimes they can be a little bit harder to apply. Right. Yeah. So even though your hair is wavy, there's still some botanical gels that you might put on your hair and it can cause a sort of tight tangling feeling. And so personally, I like to put down a foam first, and then put the botanical gel on top. That's what I enjoy. Yeah. I've used a leave-in conditioner, then a botanical gel in the past, but now that my hair's gotten longer and because it's coarse, that's not enough hold for my hair, and it's likely not going to be enough hold for your hair either with it being coarse. So if you get into gels, then you might want to try a botanical gel and then put a styling foam down first and then put the botanical gel on top so you can have a nice smooth application. And so for Dr. Chima, a styling foam down first, a styling foam that has great smooth buttery application, and then a botanical gel on top with hydrating ingredients could give her the smooth application as well as the finish that she desires. But for me, with having more coarse afro textured hair as opposed to coarse strand size and smooth to medium hair, then for me to get a desired finish with hold with styling foams and botanical gels, I would likely need an easy to apply styling foam down first, a botanical gel with great humectants and hydrating ingredients, and then a third botanical gel that has some anti-humectant properties, that smooths on the hair well and has strong hold. So the layering has a purpose, and typically for me as a person with coarse afro textured hair is to ease the application of the styling products, because unfortunately there aren't a lot of one and done products for coarse afro textured hair that deliver smooth application, that deliver a desired finish, and also don't dry the hair out. So these are just some things to consider when I'm discussing styling products. And I did a video about that before I left, about explaining, botanical gels can be tight and tangly on the hair. And I'm going to tell you now, like I said, if you put anything in your hair and it feels awful, don't do it.
Yeah, I like that. That's the easy thing to do.
Don't do it. Because if you're putting a botanical gel in your hair and it feels bad and you keep working it through, you're breaking your hair. You're tearing up your hair. You're tearing up your hair. So I think that's just about everything with, like, I told you about foams, lotions, gels, there are probably some other things, but that's not what you're looking for because you want
Not right
effortless.
now. Yeah.
But
I am a vain person to an extent because we all are, but I don't want to be perceived as such. So, I want
Yeah,
it to
no,
look
nobody
like,
wants to
okay,
be
she cares, but not
too much. Like nobody wants to be perceived as vain. So you want effortless or whatever. I mean, but if it's a special occasion, then you might have more defined waves.
Right.
Or for me, if it's a special occasion, I might have more defined curls.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye.